Oh,
Hey, Donovan, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. When you look at the first two games of the season, how do you feel the offensive line in terms of run blocking versus pass blocking has performed generally in those two contests?
Since we have basically a completely new offensive line from last year, just losing a lot of seniors, I feel like we've done a pretty good job in the pass and the run game. Like we've seen a couple of different, like a few different blitzes and stuff here and there that were kind of difficult to pick up at times. But overall, I feel like as far as us playing together as a unit, I feel like we meshed well together. And yeah.
Chris.
Donovan, what did it feel like just being out there after basically not playing for 28 days, just the physical and mental components of it?
Yeah, so well, we played our first game a while back, and then we had that long break. So since we couldn't really work out that much within that time period, it was a little difficult just getting back into the swing of things. But that's something that we're gonna have to deal with this year, just with the pandemic. All the teams are dealing with it, so that's not an excuse. But it was just good to go back out there and finally get to put our efforts on the field again, show people what's up.
Jacob.
Donovan, you've talked about in the past how you like the matchups where you kind of get into it from an emotional standpoint. And you get to kind of trade the verbal jabs a little bit. How do you handle that in terms of playing Arizona this week and keep those emotions in check when you're playing a rival?
Mm-hmm. Well, this game's always going to be a very intense game just because the rivalry between the state. But we're just gonna take it as another game. It's another opponent, so we just gotta stay focused, go out there, execute our responsibilities, and play our game.
Shell.
Hey, Donovan, you played in this rivalry game for the first time last year. Do you feel more prepared this year, knowing kind of what it's all about and how important it is to the fan bases?
I mean, last year, yeah, I didn't really know what I was stepping into that much, but it's new. We have a new team. They have a new team. So it's not going to be the same as it was last year. Like every year it's going to be a new game. So I wouldn't really say I'm more or less prepared than last year. It's just going to be something that we see as time goes on.
Oh.
And obviously, as a team and even personally, you always want to see that big improvement from week one to week two. Obviously, that's very hard to do when you got 3 weeks in between. But now that you had the game just last Saturday, you're playing on a short week this week. Do you feel that this Tuesday practice today felt a whole lot different because it's following a game versus Tuesday practice last week when you're still coming off a long layoff?
I mean, like as far as like your body's gonna be a little bit more sore just because it's a short turnaround, but practice is practice. We gotta go out there with the mindset of getting better, improving, working on our chemistry. So today and last Tuesday, I mean, it felt pretty similar because we just got to go out there, prepare for our opponent each week, and get better.
Jacob.
Donovan, I'm curious what you've noticed about Arizona on film from a schematic standpoint, because they had a change with their defense from what they ran last year to what they're running right now. So what are some of the things you've noticed?
For the main thing that I noticed is they got 3 pretty big interior guys that are 300 pounds plus, and they like to run a lot of bear front. So we'll be seeing a lot of 5 down, odd front. And yeah, that's mainly what I've seen so far.
Chris.
Donovan, UCLA really loaded up the box on you guys and ran the football very effectively. How did that feel, and what were some of the key factors that enabled that?
I think one of the things that enabled that was just our willpower. Even though they stacked the box, I feel like we did a pretty good job of moving the defenders off the line of scrimmage, as well as the running backs making people miss and getting yards after contact. So I just feel like us doing our job and the running backs, doing their thing, it all worked out pretty well.
Michael.
Yeah, Donovan, to kind of piggyback off that too, I mean, obviously the 3-week delay in between games, but how did you feel the communication and the chemistry was with the offensive line as the game went on?
I feel like our communication amongst the O-line has been pretty good. just because like we're all like pre-snap, we're all making our calls and stuff, and since we did have that time off, even though we weren't practicing that much, like the calls aren't really going to change that much. So just having the repetition there, our calls get better as time goes on.
Jeff. On mute, Jeff.
Just wondered, how do you think Jaden is handling everything this year with the responsibilities that always fall on a quarterback, and just his leadership responsibilities and still being a young guy himself?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a tough position to be in coming into your second year, but I feel like Jaden's done a really good job of becoming like stepping into a bigger leadership role on this team, just because like he's our quarterback. So at the end of the day, he's really running our offense. So just coming out here each every day, working hard, it shows us that we can trust in him.
Jacob.
Dohnovan, when you reflect on the last several weeks, you guys have only played 2 games, you missed 3, and you're going into your last regular season game. What do you take away from a season that has been, so unpredictable for you guys? What do you learn from this?
I mean, one of the biggest things that I learned from this year is that tomorrow isn't promised. So, like, whenever you get to step out on the field, it really could be your last opportunity to show what you got. So, just like Coach Ham says, you got to leave it out on the grass.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Dohnovan.
Thanks, Donovan.